Others of my generation as the first major wave of American gem artists from the mid 70s through the 90s that came to public attention are Steve Walters, whose family was in the business, Michael de Beer, another innovator working in isolation like myself, and the late Arthur Anderson, to name just a few. We were the first wave of gem artists from America. Have you guessed who it is? Oh, stay to the end. I cannot wait to reveal this genius. Oh my goodness. If you have not figured out who this amazing person is by now, there's no reason not to stay till the end. At this point in time, I was completely unaware of the tradition or major masters of the day in the Dart Oberstein, such as Erwin Pauli, Master Camille Carver, his son and my very good friend Hans Ulrich Pauli, Bernd Munsteiner, considered the grandfather of fantasy carving, and Manfred Wild, master of the sculptures and objects. The knowledge of these German masters' very existence did not come to me until 1986, 11 years after I had started carving away in obscurity without a mentor. Later in the book, I will share more about a short history of Adar Oberstein, where I found myself at the doorsteps of many masters in this small village in Germany. But first, I want to share a short history as I have come to understand from the 1970s onward to this new level of gem art that has come into existence first in Germany and the USA, and now has worldwide acceptance in the gem and jewelry industry, along with a huge public demand now in the 21st century. Currently, many of my colleagues and myself feel we are living an epic moment in the history of gem art and jewelry, akin to the periods of the Renaissance, Edwardian, Art Nouveau, and Art Deco times in history. We are living in a time in history that others in the future will look back on as a revolutionary change in the use of gemstone material and a genius moment in jewelry designs. It was not until the middle to late part of the 20th century that the actual artist, lapidary, craft person in Europe and US began to promote themselves and sign their work. Just recently, for the first time in history, the world was able to come to know the artist behind the work. As I have mentioned, for the gem artist to even sign his or her work was frowned upon until just a few decades ago. For centuries, many pieces of the finest gem art have been left anonymous forever, lost to the chronicles of time and history. Even in the late 19th and early 20th century, the great works from houses such as Tiffany, Cartier, and Fabergé, the actual craftsmen were often never given full credit for their skill. These great houses of jewelry and gemstone designs would come with their ideas to the lapidarists and have them execute the actual work. I remember a German carver friend and colleague opening a Fabergé book on gem art and showing me pictures of great works credited to the house of Fabergé and explaining to me his grandfather did this piece and their great uncle carved this work as a commission. It was not until the middle of the 20th century that some of the finest gem artists from Germany began to sign their own work, along with the few of us recognized from America. In the beginning, when these master gem artists of the mid-20th century started this practice of self-promotion and signing their own work, the industry strongly criticized them for doing so. It was the start of how the businessmen could no longer keep these highly trained masters from the world knowing who they were. Now there are several like myself who create and self-promote, and the jewelry designers who use our work acknowledge us as the creator of the gem art in their designs. As a matter of fact, nowadays, when a designer's brand acknowledges the use of gemstone components by a well-known gem artist, it increases the perceived value of the design. We are living in an era now where the art and craft is fully recognized and appreciated for those who created it and what it is. There was a whole new renaissance that came into existence in the late 1970s and is now in full swing in the 21st century with a huge array of styles and techniques of carving and cutting gemstones. There has now been a second and third wave of new individuals since I started, now working in the field creating exciting new designs in gem art. A period in the history of jewelry design where the designer of the metalwork acknowledges and gives credit for the gem art incorporated into their work. We're living in very exciting times that I hope will be definitely recorded in the long history of gem art throughout human history. I am deeply satisfied to know I was one of the forebearers back in the late 70s and 80s to help birth the craft and bring it to a high degree of public awareness today as to its actual existence. It's a dream of any artist during his or her lifetime to leave their mark in their chosen art medium. I can proudly look back on my body of work up to this point and know I've hit my mark when it comes to being a living, successful artist.